you fed up of mining for coal or running out of fuel? I'm going to give you a kelp farm that's going to give you infinite smelting for as long as you want it. Plus, this brand new design works perfectly in Minecraft 1.17 and above. Don't you go anywhere. Hello everyone and welcome to another video from me, Avomance, in my Minecraft 1.17 farm tutorial series. Today, we're farming kelp. We need fuel, we're bored of getting coal, we're bored of running out of it. This is going to give you an infinite amount of fuel and it's a completely new design. This Minecraft farm tutorial is really easy to build, uses very few resources, and you can decorate it so it fits perfectly into your world. Make it look exactly the way you want. It's fully expandable, and once you've built it, it will keep on chugging kelp out forever. So let me show you how to do it block by block. To make this farm the same size as I am, you're going to need a rectangle that is 9 deep and 17 across. You can make it smaller and bigger, and I'll explain how you do that in the tutorial. Also, you're going to be digging out those bits that are red, and I'll show you that in a moment as well. So that is 9 deep and 17 across. Everything you need for this farm is inside this chest. These are the exact amounts that you're going to need to build the farm the same size as I have. If you build it bigger, obviously you're going to need more blocks. If you build it smaller, you're going to need fewer blocks. But this is exactly what you'll need for my size. This row along the bottom are decorative blocks. You can do whatever you want for that. You don't have to decorate it up. Take a screenshot, pause the video, do whatever it is you've got to do. That's what you need. Let's crack on. Come to one of the long edges of your rectangle. Now, if you're doing it the same size as me, you're going to want to count in 9 because that will be the exact center. Then in one block, remove that and place a hopper straight in there. Then remove those two. You can see the hopper's nib should be facing in towards this gap. Then grab a chest and place a double chest in like that. And then 4 rows from the back, 1, 2, 3, and 4, come in one and remove the entire row all the way to the end except for that outside one there. You can see you've got a row of 15. Then grab a bucket of water and place a bucket of water every 2 blocks. That is going to give you water source blocks all the way to the edge. So you can see 15 water source blocks just like that. And then place a kelp in each and every one of them. So that's 15 kelp altogether. Now, if you want more or less here, you absolutely can. You can go up all the way to 29. So you could go 29 across. That's the maximum size. And you could have it as just 1. But I do warn you, just 1 doesn't give you a lot of kelp. Grab yourself your pistons, and over every water source you want to place a piston facing over the water source, exactly like that. You can see that. And then grab some planks, and with the exception of the row of this second piece of chest here, place a plank around the entire border like this. Once that border is all the way around, then come along on this side and bring more blocks until you get to that chest, skip it, and then come all the way across again. And then where you've made that gap for the chest, place a stair upside down so you can still open that chest, but you keep a nice trough all the way along here. And then in that trough, I want you to grab your water bucket and place one water bucket at that end, and then come all the way along here and place a water bucket at that end. They should meet exactly where that hopper is. That's absolutely perfect. Then grab some glass, and you're going to place a row of glass all the way along the edge of that water, exactly like that. And then you're going to grab 2 doors. You can place 1 door there and 1 door there. I like to place them from the inside because then you get that indentation of the door. If you wanted to just have a door at one end, that's entirely up to you. Next up, place a solid block behind all of these pistons. It does not matter what block you use. This block is not going to be seen ever again, but it does need to be a redstone conductive block. And then place a row of redstone right the way across those blocks that you just placed in there. I'm just using the same block because that's what I've got in my hand. Place a block on top of all of these pistons along like that, exactly like that. And then another row of blocks all the way along those as well, exactly like that. Then grab yourself an observer, and what you're going to want to do is you want to get the center. You can tell the center because it's the same place that you've got that chest, and come along, maybe remove that one because it might be simpler, and place an observer so as it's facing downwards, the redstone bum facing downwards over that redstone dust. That way when a redstone fart goes off, that's going to activate all of that dust. Place another row of glass on top of this row of glass all the way along to the end. So that's 15 pieces of glass if you're doing it the same size as me. And then exactly the same way, place glass on the outer edge of this area to there, and on this row as well, all the way along. So that is another 45 pieces of glass for these 3 rows. This is purely aesthetic. You don't have to be able to see into this bit. I just like to. You are then going to add 3 more rows to the glass and 2 more rows to that wall at the back on top of the pistons. So it should look something like that. Come round to the back, and where you've got your observer, 2 blocks above it, place another observer like that, so as again the redstone bum is facing downwards and the redstone face is facing upwards. We are then going to put some more observers, and at this point you can decide how many you're going to want along this row here, and we're going to make it so the redstone bums face backwards. So you may wish to place another block here first, create an entire row of blocks all the way along on the same row of this observer. That will give you a platform on which you can actually walk like that, and then you can put as many observers along here as you want. You could just put 1. If you do, I recommend you put that observer just there, but if you want to put 15 observers, you absolutely can. Maybe you just want to put an extra observer every now and again like that. It's entirely up to you and down to how many resources you've got. And wherever you don't place an observer, I want you to place another block, just like that. Now place a dot of redstone on top of this bottom observer's face. That's going to fire the pistons, so don't worry, they're not actually doing anything. And what we're now going to do is we're going to build up this outer wall so as it is the same level as all of these columns that we've got here, all the way along. Stay on top of your farm and place a water block again in every single one of these blocks here. That will give a water source block in front of those observers, and the water will kind of drip down all the way down to the kelp at the bottom. That'll allow the kelp to grow up, and as it does grow up, it will turn each block into a water source block. That will in turn mean that the kelp that comes off of it will float up to the top and not stay down at the bottom. And now we have to do the collection system that makes use of that. We now want to create another level, so we're going to put our structural blocks all the way along the front over the top of this glass. We're not going another level of glass, we're just doing another level of these structural blocks. Leave this hole and then come back along the other central glass wall. And then we are creating a ceiling across that walkway in the middle between the doors. Exactly like that, again using the same structural block. You don't have to use this structural block, you could use a different one should you wish. We're then going to come around the top of this water trough here, making sure we leave it completely clear for now, and then also we're going to come along the top here as well. Now we do also need to place some redstone inside this box right now, so place a redstone row all the way along, including on top of that observer face. That's going to fire the pistons, don't worry, they're not doing anything at the moment. When this fires here, this redstone fart is going to send off a signal through this entire redstone line. The observer's going to see it, that itself is going to do a redstone fart. If you remember up there, that redstone fart is then going to come out, be seen by this observer, which will fire all of that redstone line and create a redstone fart firing of those pistons, and that's what we're looking for. We then want to put a temporary block. I'm going to use the same block because I've got it in my hand, but use something that's going to be easy to mine out. Put a temporary block along here like that. You want that to come out shortly, but not yet. And then we increase the width of this tray all the way around the outside by 1 more block. Once you've got this entirety of the outside placed, plus another row of blocks along the top here, this is going to be the blocks that are above those observers, place a torch just inside this. This is going to just stop any light updates that you might have, that especially if you're on a server, that could cause some lag. You can then place a block over the top of that, and that can never be seen again. You don't have to worry about it. You might also consider popping some torches in the redstone lines down below for exactly the same reason. We're then going to come to our trough here, and we're going to place a sign on each of these blocks facing inwards over the hole. This block is then going to be filled up by the sign, which means water cannot flow into it, which is good. We don't want the water to flow into it, we want the water to stop on this last one here. Then we're going to grab some water buckets, and every 2 we're going to place a water bucket, which will give us a continual flow of water all the way from one side to the other. You can see it doesn't go into the hole because the sign is filling up. We then remove these temporary blocks above the kelp. That's going to place a permanent, complete water source block at the top that flows all the way across. We then have to do just a quick tricky maneuver because we need to convert these ones where those temporary blocks were into water source blocks, which means you need to place a water bucket in all of those as well. That makes the kelp flow all the way to the top, and you end up not losing any in your farm. Now officially your farm is complete, although I would urge you to put a roof on. Something a little bit like that would work absolutely perfectly because that would then be spawn proof. It is a bottom slab and things can't spawn on bottom slabs. I do also recommend you get some lighting inside, and you know what, decorate the whole thing. It's just a block of wood at the moment. Make sure it looks nice, and the way you decorate it is completely up to you depending on what structural block you used. But I definitely recommend bushes. And that's the farm all decked out. I've used various bushes, a little bit of pathway, some gravel and path blocks, and some fence posts. Nothing more than that really, a bit of bone meal, the odd rose. It's quite nice, but doesn't have to do that at all. Inside your farm, it could not be more simple. Come into either end, wherever you've got yourself a little bit of a door. Come inside. I'll put some light inside here just so as it's not spawnable, otherwise you could have problems. And you can see your kelp is growing up towards those observers. Once the kelp goes over the observer's face, all of the pistons are going to fire, and any kelp that is at the piston level or above is going to be shot up to the top, flown across and fall down on this side. It's going to be pushed into this water either at that end or that end, and it's going to flow along into the hopper and therefore into that chest. And that'll keep going forever. You do not have to be AFKing at this farm for it to work. You could be going around your business doing whatever it is you want, building something, mining in the vicinity. As long as this chunk is loaded, this will be working. But we still need to test it. Now, the larger your farm, the more kelp you're going to get. That stands to reason. This is a 15 station farm. You can make it as big as 29, or you can make it as small as 1. But obviously, the smaller it is, the fewer bits of kelp you're going to get out of it, and the bigger it is, the more you're going to get. We're going to give this 15 station farm 1 hour to see what it yields us. Let's go. That has been just about 1 hour, so let's go and see what we've got inside our chest. So if I come in at this end, the chest is going to be halfway down. Let's see what's inside. Right, so we've got very nearly 3.5 stacks of kelp in a 15 long section. So this is a medium-sized farm. Every hour you're going to get about 3.5 stacks of kelp while you're going about your business, which means you can convert that into either dried kelp for food or dried kelp to turn into kelp blocks that you can use for fuel. That is one very easy Minecraft 1.17 starter farm for kelp that works beautifully in the Minecraft 1.18 snapshots, and therefore will almost certainly work perfectly in Minecraft 1.18 when that eventually comes out as well. I hope this gives you loads of kelp for your world and that you can use it for whatever it is you want to use it for. If you have enjoyed this video, please do remember to slap that like button. It'd be great to know you enjoyed them, and I will keep on making them. Also, if you've not done already, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.